Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. And I know for many of you who have been watching my Porsche videos, this is very different, as many of you guys are used to seeing me go straight in, but the day has finally come. The engine is fully back together and I wanted to show you guys how it all looks now it's all back together. Now, last time we saw it like this was back in June when I had just taken the engine out of the car and started stripping it all down, and this engine was completely bare. I never thought I would get back to this stage right now where I am with the engine ready to go back into the car. It's been a very, very long journey and it's something I've actually really enjoyed. Now, the Porsche engine is literally very easy to rebuild. One of the easiest engines I've ever rebuilt, and that isn't no crap either. I mean, if I can do it, anyone can. It's very simple. It looks more daunting than it really is. You know, many people when they first pull it out will be very scared because of all the vacuum lines, this, that, the other. But once you remove the intake manifold, you actually see everything becomes very easy. I think the hardest bit about putting this engine back together was the Mercedes transmission. I needed to order an engine crane for that, which I did. Managed to lift the gearbox up and mount it back to the engine. With that, it was very easy to do, but without that, there was no way you could have done that at all. But I'm so happy it's finally come to the point that I'm gonna be putting this engine back in the car. I'm just gonna show you everything back in order and show you everything back on the engine. So you'll see right here, this is the whole engine now rebuilt back up. The manifolds are on, the throttle body's on, pulleys are on, all the auxiliaries are on, everything is ready to go. Engine carrier's on, as many of you guys would have seen in the last video, the exhausts are on, headers are on, everything is on ready to go. I'll take you around so you can see the gearbox as well. So you can also see the gearbox is mounted as well properly. Obviously we've got the adapter plate to make this fit. As many of you guys know, some Mercedes transmissions, so Porsche use an adapter plate to be able to mount this transmission to this engine. But that's now on as well. That I think was one of the easiest jobs to do because as you guys know, you've got all the 16mm bolts here, bolt them up with the impact or torque them down, whatever you feel you want to do. And then it's just these Torx bolts that are a bitch to actually get in and torque down. Apart from that, it was a very easy job to mount it. It all went smoothly. I'm very happy the way it come out. Obviously, you need to put your coolant lines back underneath the engine, so you will need an engine stand to be able to lift the engine to put all that back to mount them underneath the gearbox, which we've done. Obviously, you're gonna have probably a few clips that are gonna break because it's all plastic, as you guys know. Everything's plastic on these, so things do break after years of being brittle and with heat. But apart from that, everything is back on the engine. So we've got this ready to go back into the car. So as you can see guys, everything is now fully rebuilt. And like I said, I've really enjoyed it. Now you guys have got to remember, I've had 6 months with this engine out. I've had time to do everything because I know many of you are gonna say, oh, I didn't do the heads, lapse the valves, clean the valves. I did it all. I did the valve stem seals while I was waiting for my blocks to come back. I did everything. I ordered all new parts, new exhausts, new headers, new coolant hoses. You got to remember guys, I've been busy underneath the car with all the new brake lines, brake hoses, coolant lines, you name it. That car's had everything. Now you've got to factor in also, I bought this car cheap enough to warrant doing all this. Now, I wouldn't go and pay 20, 28 grand for one of these cars and then do all this. It just wouldn't be worth it. But I got this car cheap enough that I can enjoy it, sell it, and still make a return. For many of you guys, that's simply not the case because many of you pay for your 911s 28, 25 grand, then you end up with bore score, and then you're either trying to part ways with it for 17, 18, 15 grand, and you know, you're taking a big loss on it. And people out there, you know, if many of you ain't got the skills, the space, or all the abilities to be able to build your own engine, you're taking it and getting really conned by all these people that seem to think they're specialists and they're the only people that can rebuild a Porsche engine. I've now shown you that I can easily rebuild one of these, and you guys now specialize in BMW. I got this car, I managed to rebuild the whole engine. There's people out on YouTube who don't have access to a lift, who are dropping these engines on their floors from their quick jacks, or even on axle stands and taking this engine out. You know, people with no knowledge rebuilding them. I've seen it myself. Obviously I watched a couple of videos to see what goes where, but obviously there isn't enough videos out there on this engine in particular, especially the M97 engine. One thing's for certain, there is no video regarding the timing. I know many of you guys are really angry with me, really pissed off about that, because I promised I was going to do a timing video. But I have to say, the timing is very, very easy on this car. I know there's many of you that are going to be angry, because I know a lot of you are waiting on that, especially for the timing video, because there isn't one regarding the M97. That is one video that I even know myself. Took me a long time, a lot of reading, to figure out how to do this. And when I couldn't even find it, because everything kept coming up for M96, so you know, that's the 5-chain system. I just couldn't find anything for M97. I rang one of my good friends who knows someone who specializes in rebuilding this, and he told me how to time all this engine correctly. But as I said, there's no information out there, and obviously if I do fall into the hands of another one, I will be looking to do a timing video on this engine. But as I said, guys, obviously I know you guys look at me and think, oh, I've got a hydraulic table, you know, an engine crane, a car lift. It's easy for me to do. But let me tell you, I'm very OCD about my shop, the cleanness of it. And I haven't enjoyed my shop being in a mess, parts being everywhere while this engine's been out. Would I do this again in a hurry? No chance. I wouldn't do it again in a hurry. It's just not something I wanted to. I've done this because I bought the car cheap enough to warrant doing it. I've enjoyed doing it. I've enjoyed the whole journey of rebuilding this engine. Now I'm just looking forward to putting it back in the car, doing the braking service, enjoying it for a bit, passing it on. I don't know if many of you guys who are watching, who are interested in 911's gonna want to buy this. I know many of you get put off by Tiptronic, but bear in mind, this car was a track car. My friend owned it. He's had the gearbox remapped on it. As many of you guys know, you can do that on Mercedes. That's the next thing we're going to be doing, which I will be recording, because again, there's no videos on this transmission on YouTube. How to service the Mercedes 722.6 A9701 transmission. So we're going to be doing that on this car, because I think that video is going to go very, very well, because there isn't an actually documented video on how to service that transmission either. I just think it's a lot of guys don't do these kind of repairs or servicing themselves. Most people take them to specialists to have it done, because they seem to think you need all these special tools and things, when in actual fact, you really, really don't, only for tearing down the engine. They need a couple of different things, but nothing's expensive and everything's easy, readily available online to be able to buy. I've ended up buying stuff I never thought I would need, like timing kits. Am I going to need it again? Probably not. But I've got it for M96 and M97 now, because as you guys know, M97 uses a different timing kit to M96. So, you know, it is what it is, but you have to factor that in. You're getting, you know, a 30 grand car, and when you're buying a 30 grand car, nothing's going to come cheap. Obviously, modifications for this car, the sky is the limit. As many of you guys know, you can keep going and going and going and going. There is no stopping with Porsche world. But I do have a cold air intake system, silicone hose and everything else, for this car as well. So we're going to be installing that when we put the engine back in as well. Like I said, got a panel filter in it now as well, with the new exhaust, new headers. You know, gearbox is tuned, and I know it's lightning fast, because as I said to you guys, I did test it when my friend actually first bought it to me, and my God, the gear changes on that are absolutely phenomenal. And this car really does pull, even with bore score, it's pulling like an absolute animal. But now it's been fixed, I just can't wait. I literally cannot wait to get this on the road. I hope many of you guys have enjoyed the journey. I'm very, very happy. I cannot wait to get this back in the car and start it up. And you guys will get to see it as well, because we will be recording it when I get this engine back in the car. Obviously, as many of you guys know, it's very, very easy to realign this back into the car. It just sits, the engine mounts back onto the engine carrier, bolt them up, and bolt the gearbox, mount up, and away you go. That's it, start connecting everything else. Very, very simple engine to put back in the car, and I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. So as you've seen there, guys, the engine has now been fully restored, and you know what? I'm very, very happy. as they say, nothing in life comes easy, nothing good at least comes easy, and nothing that you really want. Now this is a car I've really, really wanted and lusted over for a very, very long time. Having a 911 is just iconic. Many of you guys know that. It's an iconic engine, iconic status, everything about a 911. You know, even having one in here on the lift makes me very, very happy. You know, obviously I deal in BMW, but you know, regardless of BMW, you cannot beat a 911, you know, for what they offer, the power, the handling, you know, just a smile they put on your face when you drive them, that in your gut feeling when you slam it to the floor, and this one does exactly that. Like I said, I did drive it for about 2 miles when it was bore scored. Obviously I'm gonna keep topping up the oil, but you know what, I actually enjoyed it. But we're not done yet. Obviously, even after overhauling all the coolant lines, all the brake lines, all the brake pads, all the control arms, everything it's ever needed in this life, engine rebuild, I'm still not done. In the interior, you know, I've still got airbag light on, which is a steering wheel squib. I'm having to replace that. The window regulator's broken on the passenger side. As many of you guys know, it's a typical VAG group problem. That's always known for that anyway. The window switches need replacing on the driver's side because they're very temperamental. They do work and the other one doesn't. I've already got the new switches, got the new window regulator, got the new squib. We need to move into the interior and start dealing with that as well after. Like I said, there's still things. Am I gonna get to drive this? Even with the engine rebuilt, I'm still not even there. This is what I mean, guys. The MOT ran out on this back in November. I've still got to take it for an MOT as well. And you know, many of you guys think, oh yeah, just bang it on the road, but I can't. I need to take it for tracking. I need to take it for MOT. I've still got to get the airbag light sorted. I've still got the window regulator to sort. You know, there's loads still to do. That's what I mean. It's not as simple as get the engine in and get it on the road. And this is the problem where Nathan didn't really want to help me either. And he was trying to rush to get it done. And I told him, there's no point rushing. It can't go on the road. He was rushing to come and help throw the engine back together. Didn't want to wait, thought I was going to reuse all the old bits. And he then got angry because I threw away all the original exhausts and everything like that because I didn't want it. And he wanted to rush to put this engine back together. Even though it's took me over a month to put it back together, I've been very happy. I've took it slowly, I haven't rushed. Did everything I needed to do. Engine's now back together. And I told Nathan, I wasn't going to be putting this on the road. It wasn't like I was just going to go out and drive it as soon as the engine was back in. No chance. There's a lot of other things that need doing. I'm very, very OCD. This is my one shot to put a 911 right. I'm restoring a very, very broken 911. More broken than most people actually get even on YouTube. This 911 needs money, a lot of money, and we still aren't there. Obviously, that's just to make it roadworthy, perfect, drivable. I've still got bodywork that I need to address on this, but that's what minor little stuff is. Nothing major dents or anything like that. Just minor little buffs and here, there, and everywhere, just from neglect. But once I'm done, it's going to make a great car. And you know what? I cannot wait. I really cannot wait. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.